What if a boot-shaped peninsula in the Mediterranean gave birth to not one, but two of history's greatest empires? What if this single stretch of land produced more world-changing art, science, and culture than anywhere else on Earth? Italy might just be humanity's greatest achievement. And after you hear this story, you will understand why. Picture Europe. Now zoom in on that distinctive boot, kicking Sicily like a football. This is Italy, and humans have called it home for over 40,000 years. Why? Because it is basically paradise with a side of volcanic drama. As the centuries rolled by, primitive tribes evolved into sophisticated societies. Meanwhile, on the island of Sardinia, something bizarre was happening. The Nuragic civilization was building thousands of mysterious stone towers. Their purpose still baffles archaeologists today. Were they fortresses? Temples? Nobody knows. By the Iron Age, various Italic tribes shared the peninsula with the enigmatic Etruscans. Their art style was warm and inviting. These Etruscans peaked in the 700s BC. Coincidentally, this was when legend says Rome was founded by Romulus, a man supposedly raised by wolves. Now, here is where it gets interesting. That same century, Greek colonists arrived in southern Italy and Sicily. They built some of the finest Greek temples that ironically are not even in Greece. Back on the Tiber River, the Romans got tired of kings and invented the Republic. They split power between two consuls who served one-year terms. Each watched the other like suspicious Italian grandmothers. This worked pretty well until 387 BC, when Celtic Gauls invaded. They humiliated Rome so badly that Romans literally never forgot it. Like, seriously, they were still bitter about it centuries later. But Rome did not sulk. It got even. Over the next century, they conquered their Italic cousins. They absorbed the Etruscans and basically became the boss of the Italian peninsula. Then they looked across the sea and saw Carthage controlling all those juicy grain-producing islands. Rome wanted those islands. Carthage said no. You can guess what happened next. The Punic Wars were like an ancient world championship series. Rome won the first round by basically inventing a better navy on the fly. Round 2 got scary when Hannibal marched elephants over the Alps. He crushed Rome at Cannae. But Romans were nothing if not stubborn. They regrouped, invaded Spain, and eventually beat Hannibal at Zama. The Third War, Rome did not just defeat Carthage, they deleted it from existence. They salted the earth. Rome now called the Mediterranean Mare Nostrum, our sea. A general named Marius revolutionized the Roman military. He turned farmers into professional killing machines. This new army helped Julius Caesar conquer Gaul, which made him so powerful the Senate got nervous. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, yes, that is where the phrase comes from, civil war erupted. Caesar won, became dictator, and then got stabbed by senators. Who really should have seen how this movie ends? Caesar's heir, Augustus, was smarter. He called himself first citizen instead of dictator, fooling exactly nobody, while establishing the Roman Empire. Under Augustus began the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of peace and prosperity, where you could walk from Britain to Baghdad on Roman roads, wash in Roman baths, and watch gladiators in Roman arenas. The empire peaked under Trajan, when it stretched from Scotland to Iran. Some emperors were psychopaths like Nero. Others were philosopher kings like Marcus Aurelius. The 3rd century brought crisis. Invasions, rebellions, and economic collapse nearly shattered the empire. Emperors like Aurelian and Diocletian held it together through sheer willpower and reforms. Diocletian also launched Rome's final futile attempt to crush Christianity. The Christians not only survived, but under Constantine became the empire's official religion. Talk about a plot twist. While the eastern half of the empire thrived as Byzantium, the west crumbled under waves of Germanic invasions. In 476, the last Western emperor was deposed by a barbarian chief. The Roman Empire in Italy was done. But Italy's story? Oh, it was just getting started. The Lombards invaded in 568, ruling much of Italy until Charlemagne and his Franks showed up. On Christmas Day, 800, Pope Leo III crowned Charlemagne Emperor of the Romans. The actual Romans in Constantinople were not amused. This began centuries of conflict between German Holy Roman Emperors and Italian popes, leaving Italy fragmented into competing city-states. Sicily, meanwhile, had been conquered by Arabs in the 800s, before Norman adventurers from France took it over. These Italo-Normans joined the Crusades, while back home, Italy was producing world-changing figures. Francis of Assisi embraced poverty to imitate Christ. Thomas Aquinas became history's greatest philosopher, theologian. Dante wrote the Divine Comedy, possibly literature's finest achievement. Marco Polo traveled to China, and Giotto revolutionized art by painting people who actually looked, human. The Black Death of 1347 killed over a third of Italy's population. But by the 1400s, something extraordinary was stirring. Italy rediscovered the wisdom of ancient Greece and Rome, and decided to not just match it, but surpass it. We call this the Renaissance, and it changed literally everything. Florence led the charge, funded by the obscenely wealthy Medici banking family. Soon, every Italian city competed to produce the finest art, the greatest buildings, the most brilliant thinkers. Leonardo da Vinci painted while designing helicopters. Michelangelo carved David and painted the Sistine Chapel. Italians invented opera, banking as we know it, and double-entry bookkeeping. The Renaissance was not just pretty pictures. It was a complete reimagining of human potential. Medieval people looked to heaven. Renaissance Italians looked to themselves. This shift in thinking sparked the scientific revolution, the age of exploration, and ultimately, the modern world. But success attracted predators. In 1494, France invaded, beginning the Italian Wars. For 60 years, France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire used Italy as their battlefield. When the smoke cleared, Spain controlled the south, Austria the north, with the Pope clinging to central Italy and Venice maintaining independence through sheer stubbornness. Italy would remain divided and largely under foreign control for the next 3 centuries. Napoleon briefly united Italy under French rule, inspiring Italians to wonder why not unite under Italian rule. The Risorgimento movement produced heroes like Giuseppe Mazzini, the writer, and Giuseppe Garibaldi, the general. With help from the Kingdom of Sardinia and its clever minister Cavour, they slowly stitched Italy together. By 1870, the boot was whole again with Rome as its capital. But uniting wildly different regions created massive problems. The industrialized North clashed with the agricultural South. Millions of poor Italians emigrated to America and Argentina. Italy tried colonialism in Africa with mixed results. A catastrophic 1908 earthquake killed over 100,000 people. Then came World War I. Italy fought for the Allies, suffering enormous casualties for promised territorial gains. But the peace treaty delivered far less than promised. This mutilated victory helped fascist Benito Mussolini rise to power. Mussolini promised to restore Roman glory, allied with Hitler, and dragged Italy into World War II. Went exactly as well as you would expect. By 1943, Italy switched sides. In 1945, Partisans caught Mussolini and hung his corpse upside down in Milan. Not exactly a triumph worthy of Caesar. Post-war Italy lay in ruins, but American aid and Italian determination worked miracles. The economic boom of the 1950s and 60s transformed Italy into a modern industrial power. Italian design, fashion, and cinema conquered the world. Sure, the 1970s brought political terrorism, and the 21st century has not been kind. But modern Italy remains a top 10 global economy with incredible quality of life. From Romulus to Berlusconi, from aqueducts to espresso machines, from gladiators to Ferrari, Italy has given humanity more beauty, more innovation, and definitely more delicious food than seems possible from one peninsula. How does one small peninsula produce not one, but two world-changing civilizations, then follow it up with the Renaissance? What is it about Italy that sparks such consistent genius? Is it the wine, the sunshine, the fact that they are shaped like footwear? Whatever the secret, Italy proves that true greatness is not about size or military might. It is about the audacious belief that humans can create beauty that outlasts empires.